This is Nightly Business Report with Sue Herrera and Bill Griffin.
Elon Musk sued. The SEC files a lawsuit against the CEO of Tesla, and investors run for the exits. Shadow profile: Facebook may have created one, and now advertisers have access to your hidden information. Fighting food allergies: life-threatening allergies are on the rise, and that has prompted drug companies to take a new approach. Those stories and more tonight on Nightly Business Report for Thursday, September 27th. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Bill Griffith is off tonight. We begin with a bombshell lawsuit. The Securities and Exchange Commission is suing Tesla's CEO Elon Musk for fraud. The agency cites Musk's tweet back in August that he was considering taking Tesla private, adding, quote, funding secured, end quote. According to the SEC, Musk did not discuss or confirm key terms to take the company private prior to his tweet, and Musk was reckless in knowing that his statements were false. The SEC calls Musk's action harmful to Tesla's investors.
The SEC's complaint, which was filed earlier today in federal district court in the Southern District of New York, seeks a finding that Musk committed securities fraud, an injunction prohibiting him from doing so in the future, civil penalties, disgorgement of any ill-gotten gains, and a bar prohibiting Musk from serving as an officer or director of a public company in the future.
Shares of Tesla fell sharply on the news in initial after-hours trading. So what happens now when a CEO is sued? Eric Gordon is a professor at the University of Michigan Ross School of Business. He joins us now to talk about that. Good to see you as always, Eric.
Hello, Sue.
What does happen when a CEO is sued? I think it depends in large part on what company it is and what type of company it is and how active a CEO is in the company, right?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. So what happens next for the company is somewhat up to the company. If the company maintains this idea that Tesla is Musk, Musk is Tesla, and they're inseparable, the company itself could be in big trouble because so far the government has only sued Musk. They actually could also sue Tesla. So to avoid that, I think it's time for Musk to go as CEO. Tesla has to say, look, Musk did this on his own, and we don't condone it, and don't come after us. We're cooperating.
Although there has been a lot of criticism of Tesla's board following that tweet, and there is some concern that perhaps the board isn't strong enough to move past Tesla and basically Elon Musk being Tesla.
Yeah, so far the board seems to be sort of the Elon Musk fan club. There have been questions about whether they're doing enough to protect the company and all of the shareholders. This lawsuit might be the move that it takes to get the board to say, okay, now we're going to act independently and we're not just going to be in Musk's corner. We've got to look out for the company and we've got to look out for all those other shareholders.
Elon Musk just saying that the lawsuit from the SEC is unjustified, perhaps a predictable response from him. But Wall Street seems to be weighing in, and even though perhaps we should think of Tesla separate from Elon Musk, it's obvious that Wall Street does not.
Yeah, much has been made, including by board members and a lot of Wall Street. A lot of equity analysts have said, oh, no, don't do anything about Musk. Without him, there is no Tesla. They may have to find a face-saving way to backtrack from that, because I think there's going to have to be a Tesla without Musk. The defendants always say they look forward to their day in court. Nobody looks forward to going into court. The evidence is such that I think Musk is going to have to reveal a card he hasn't revealed so far in order to get out of this.
All right, Eric, we'll leave it there. Thank you. Eric Gordon with the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business. On Wall Street, upbeat economic reports and an advance in technology stocks helped lift the broader market, but trading volume was low as investors watched the testimony of President Trump's Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and his accuser, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. By the closing bell, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 54 points to 26,439. The Nasdaq was up 51, and the S&P 500 added 8. One day after the chair of the Federal Reserve said the economy was strong, new reports today confirmed that. Economic growth in the second quarter rose at an annual rate of 4.2%. Gross domestic product is the broadest measure of the goods and services produced across the country and was powered by gains in consumer spending, net exports, and business investment. A separate report showed that orders for long-lasting durable goods rose 4.5% in August, thanks to an increase in aircraft orders. But pending home sales fell in August to the slowest pace since the start of the year. The decline was due to increases in both home prices and also mortgage rates. Canada plans to keep negotiating a new NAFTA agreement as long as there's a chance of success. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that even though negotiations are tough, it is still possible to reach a good and fair deal. The comments follow President Trump's criticism yesterday that talks with Canada were moving too slowly, and he threatened to impose tariffs on cars imported from Canada. The $69 billion takeover of Aetna by CVS took another step forward. Aetna is selling all of its Medicare Part D prescription drug plan business with 2 million members to rival insurer WellCare. That sent shares of WellCare to a new high. Aetna and CVS also rose. Bertha Coombs has the details.
Aetna and pharmacy giant CVS Health are hoping that the divestiture will be the final hurdle to winning regulatory approval from the Trump administration for their $69 billion merger.
Selling the entire Aetna platform really eliminates the entire concentration issue, since the PDP market is really the only major overlap and there's no change in the market after that. If anything, WellCare actually has to retain those members, and those members have been used to that Aetna brand.
Medicare Part D is the only part of Aetna and CVS's businesses where the two overlap. Pharmacy giant CVS, insurers Humana and United Health now have more than 50% market share in that business. Aetna's sale, if approved by regulators, would triple WellCare's market share, making it the fourth largest prescription drug plan insurer.
This is a big milestone. I think this is one of the things that was being asked for, and I think it's being done. So I think a lot of people feel like this is getting close to the home stretch.
While financial terms of the sale weren't disclosed, WellCare says that it's going to buy Aetna's business with the cash it has on hand. Analysts say that makes it a win for both sides.
From a financial perspective, they got an extremely attractive price. Now remember, Aetna and CVS didn't sell this necessarily in terms of the highest possible price they could get, but they were paying for that sort of, sanity of mind and their ability to sort of sleep at night with the transaction, because again, they've got a credible buyer that satisfies what I think the government was looking for.
But winning over the Department of Justice is just the beginning.
Everyone is really curious to see what this merged entity is going to do and how it affects the delivery of care, and whether there is the potential for sort of the creation of value that is going to give consumers a better experience.
Before that, CVS and Aetna will also need to win over state regulators. Connecticut and New York are both holding hearings on the deal next month. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Bertha Coombs, New York.
It is time to take a look at some of today's upgrades and downgrades. Apple was initiated with an overweight rating in new coverage at JP Morgan. The analyst cites Apple's transformation to a services business. The price target is $272. The stock rose 2% to $224.95. Amazon's price target was raised to $2,525 at Stifel, the highest price target among Wall Street analysts. The analyst cites higher long-term revenue and margin expectations. The firm maintains a buy rating on the stock. The shares gained nearly 2% to $2,012.98. Bed Bath & Beyond's price target was lowered to $13 over at Citi. The analyst says the retailer's turnaround may be too little too late. The firm has a sell rating on that stock. The shares fell 21% to $14.86. That is an 18-year low. Still ahead, a new twist in what Facebook knows about you and what it does with that information. Customers can now test drive Amazon's top-selling products before hitting that buy button. The e-commerce giant launched a new concept brick-and-mortar location in New York City called Amazon 4-Star, which only sells items that are either new, trending, or highly rated on Amazon's website. Each product has a digital price tag with digital reviews, which both update in real time. Well, if you're on Facebook, you created your profile. But it also appears that Facebook has created a shadow profile of you, and it reportedly sells that data to advertisers. Julia Borston takes a look at the latest privacy issue to swirl around the company.
When people provide Facebook with their phone number for two-factor authentication, they think they're making their account more secure, not giving advertisers more ways to target them. A Gizmodo article outlines how advertisers can target consumers based on phone numbers and email addresses that they have on file. Facebook can then cross-reference that information, not just with info that users put into their profile, but also information that people provide for security purposes and data collected from friends' contact books.
Facebook has a problem with transparency with its users and is not clear with how it's using data and how it's communicating with users.
Facebook responding, quote, "We use the information people provide to offer a better, more personalized experience on Facebook, including ads. We are clear about how we use the information we collect, including the contact information that people upload or add to their own accounts. You can manage and delete the contact information you've uploaded at any time." Facebook encourages two-factor authentication to secure accounts, and providing a phone number is the easiest way to set that up, though users can also use a separate app such as Google Authentication to generate login codes. The question is whether Facebook adequately communicates how personal information is used.
The self-regulatory regime we have of relying on companies to explain to users and expecting users to read and understand company privacy policies is very broken, and we need legislation that gives users real rights.
This comes as Facebook draws critique from the co-founder of one of its major acquisitions, WhatsApp. Brian Acton, who left Facebook a year ago, criticizing Facebook's insistence on targeted advertising. Facebook exec David Marcus shooting back in defense of the social media giant, saying connecting people is a noble mission and the bad is far outweighed by the good. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Julia Borston in Los Angeles.
So let's turn now to Ian Sherr for more on what it ultimately means for you. He is an executive editor over at CNET. Good to see you again, Ian. Welcome.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. You know, you're the go-to guy on this. You've been covering Facebook for a long time. We've talked to you about it before, and you said you didn't even know about this. I find that worrisome.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's hard to keep track of all of the different ways that Facebook advertises at us. There are just so many different systems they have and processes in place. And this is one of those things that, among all of the things, if you had sat me down and asked me to write them all down, and there would be a lot, I would not have known that they're taking this information and using it for advertising too.
That's another blow, is it not, to the transparency argument that government officials have put forward, that Facebook and some of the other providers have been facing, especially this last year?
Yeah, it is definitely part of the overall problem. I think you can trace a lot of Facebook's, at least the PR end of their problems, to transparency. And it is something I've written about on CNET many times. They just need to up this issue, and they really need to tackle it. And the fact that these things keep coming out, and we keep finding out new things that they did not proactively tell everybody, is just a black mark all over the place. And it encourages Washington, which is already upset with the tech industry, to get even more riled up and eventually write some laws they're not going to like.
Right, exactly. I was going to ask you, basically, do you think this is going to usher in or begin the end of the self-regulatory era for technology?
I think that the beginning of that end happened a while back. And really, you can point a lot of it at the 2016 election and the Russian interference that happened and the propaganda. And the fact that even some lawmakers just a couple weeks ago when I was in Washington, D.C. for the tech hearings then were complaining to me that we still don't have a full accounting in public of what happened with the Russian propaganda. from Facebook. And so this is just a larger issue that keeps coming up. And certainly having these things keep coming up, having them show up in the headlines more and more is going to rankle these congressmen and congresswomen who are already getting so many complaints from their constituents about it.
Very quickly, should a consumer assume that this same type of situation exists on other platforms that they use?
It's hard to tell. I mean, all of Silicon Valley has transparency problems. Facebook is not special here. I'm not aware of other companies going to this degree, but one thing we've seen is that as Facebook has come up with new advertising technology, a lot of other companies look at it and say, oh, we should do something similar.
Right.
So the question is, what's going to keep going down the pike and other people doing similar stuff? It's going to be interesting. But make no mistake, targeted advertising is very popular in Silicon Valley right now.
Ian, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Ian Sherr with CNET.
My pleasure.
Well, 20 years of Google, can you believe it? The company has had a profound impact on our everyday lives. It's connected the world. It's given us access to information we didn't think we needed. It's even a verb. Josh Lipton has more on Google's impact.
No tech company did more to open up the internet to more people than Google. That's because before Google, we clicked on directories at Yahoo or subscribed to AOL, which offered fairly limited information. Google's search engine changed all of that, both broadening the available information and delivering it a lot faster.
I use Google every day. I use it for looking up where to get a car fixed, to people, to news.
It can make life easier. I know about all the intrusive stuff that it does, but it certainly makes life a lot easier.
It's an extension of yourself, just like the cell phone.
I think if you don't know anything, you can easily just Google it up. Having the phone in your pocket makes it super easy.
It wasn't inevitable that Google would be the search winner. 20 years ago, they entered a crowded field, including Excite, AltaVista, InfoSeek, and Yahoo. But today, about 80% of all online searches on both desktop and mobile are run through Google, according to ComScore. Google has also transformed the way we collaborate with Google Docs, the way we communicate with Gmail, and the way we travel with Google Maps. But search is its bread and butter. It's even become a verb, and investors know that search is how Google makes most of its money, displaying ads alongside those search results. In the company's most recent earnings report, it said that advertising business grew 24%, driving total Alphabet net revenue to more than $26 billion. But there are challenges for search too, including more competition from rivals.
We've seen that in some of our survey work that increasingly consumers are going directly to Amazon, especially if you have a Prime membership. You go directly to Amazon versus kind of bypass Google completely.
With more competition comes the possibility that Google's search growth could slow in the coming years. That's why the company may soon put a bigger focus on its other businesses like YouTube, cloud computing, and self-driving cars. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Josh Lipton, San Francisco.
Carnival tops expectations, and that's where we begin tonight's market focus. The cruise line operator also launched a $1 billion share buyback and said future bookings are strong. The company said it expects calm seas ahead.
We're excited about having a record earning again this quarter and having the opportunity to raise our guidance for the year. In fact, at the midpoint of the guidance, we'll show operationally a 16% increase in earnings per share operationally. That'll be partially offset with fuel and currency drag, but still at the midpoint of guidance will be above double-digit increase in earnings for the year.
Despite that improved guidance, concerns were raised about future pricing, and that sent the stock lower by nearly 5% to $63.74. The consulting and outsourcing services firm Accenture said growth across all of its divisions led to an earnings beat, but it was the company's full-year profit forecast that disappointed investors. Accenture said the guidance reflects the potential impact from the ongoing trade war and a stronger U.S. dollar. Accenture shares fell more than 1% to $170.05. And Aetna Health has reportedly received multiple acquisition offers. CNBC is reporting that 2 private equity firms and a strategic buyer are all interested in the cloud-based health IT company, but likely won't pay more than the $131 per share. Earlier this year, Athena expressed interest in selling its Athena, I should say, expressed interest in selling itself. Shares of Athena Health rose 1% to 133.26. Among food allergies, peanuts can be among the most severe, but now researchers are working on a drug to counter those life-threatening reactions. Meg Terrell has our latest installment of Modern Medicine.
For 13-year-old Will Brody, a bite of the wrong food could be fatal.
My peanut allergy is definitely the worst allergy I have. It's anaphylactic, which means that if I eat a peanut, I could die, and I'd take my EpiPen and go to the hospital.
Will is one of an increasing number of kids with dangerous allergies.
According to the CDC, the prevalence of food allergy, the most common cause of anaphylaxis, rose 70% from 1997 to 2016 in kids younger than 18.
Allergic reactions are causing more hospital visits too, an increase of more than fourfold in a decade. Peanuts are the worst culprit.
Peanut allergy specifically affects approximately 1.5% to 4.5% of children.
Drug companies are responding, and 2 new treatments for peanut allergy may reach the market as soon as next year. From biotech companies Aimmune and DBV Technologies, both introduce small amounts of peanut protein to patients over time, with the goal of building up tolerance. Will Brody is in a clinical trial of Aimmune's treatment called AR-101.
This is a biology that goes right to the core of where food allergy starts.
Every day, he mixes a powder made of peanut protein into food. Over time, the dose increases.
They start you in a very low dose, and that was 1/100th of a peanut. By the end, this past August, when they did their last food challenge, he was able to complete the entire challenge, which was over 4,000 milligrams, and something like 13 peanuts.
French biotech DBV Technologies is working on a similar program, using a patch to administer a dose equivalent to 1/1000th of a peanut every day, essentially retraining the immune system to tolerate peanuts.
Allergy work is also underway at biotech giant Regeneron.
Its recently approved medicine Dupixent targets 2 signaling molecules that become overactive in allergic diseases, like asthma and atopic dermatitis.
The more specifically you can identify what's wrong with the immune system and what's overactive, you can target only that.
It's testing the drug in other allergic disorders, as well as in combination with Aimmune's therapy for peanut allergy. Regeneron's also exploring whether it can develop drugs that target the cause of each specific allergy.
We have a program for cat allergy, for example, where we know what the major driver is from the cat allergen that's inducing a lot of the symptoms. And we took it into a phase 1 clinical study and showed that patients do have symptomatic relief.
For Regeneron scientist Jamie Orengo, the work is deeply personal. Her 3 sons all have severe allergies.
It definitely puts a spark in everything that you do because, I see how much this affects my children.
Will Brody says that while the peanut treatment has given him protection, it doesn't come without side effects, mainly upset stomach, and it's not a cure.
You have to still be very careful, but just that peace of mind of knowing that, if I accidentally ate something that I shouldn't have, nothing would happen.
His mom calls that a game changer. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Meg Terrell.
Coming up, Porsche's need for speed.
It is a sound Porsche owners love, revving up their car before going out and racing it. We'll take you to a place where Porsche owners are meeting for Rennsport Reunion number 6, coming up on Nightly Business Report.
Porsche owners and fans are gathering this weekend for a festival celebrating the German auto brand's 70th anniversary. It comes as the luxury brand enjoys record sales in the U.S. Phil LeBeau is in Salinas, California, where the sound and speed of Porsche is on display.
It's music to the ears of Porsche fans. A roar of Porsche race cars turning lap after lap at the famed Laguna Seca racetrack. This is Porsche's 6th Rennsport Reunion, a 4-day festival celebrating the feel, the handling, and the sensation of pushing a performance car to the limit. In a world speeding towards self-driving cars, the people here still want to control the driving experience.
It's a homecoming for an aspect of Porsche, which is racing, which is the company's whole heritage. And every Porsche race car is represented here.
It's kind of a slogan, but it's it's about the people, not necessarily really the cars and the community. And I've got friends I've known for 40 years that have been driving Porsches, and it's just a thing.
And you love it?
Oh yeah.
It's great. I mean, where do you find so many beautiful cars like this except at Rennsport?
While Porsche is developing an electric car it plans to roll out next year, this is a brand where fuel injection and horsepower still attracts buyers. In fact, the company is enjoying record sales here in the United States, especially for its signature model, the 911.
The 911 is on fire. It's just not about just the new 911. I mean, when we look at all these classic cars in the market, when you look at the values of our cars in the market, we see a very strong demand for our brand. The brand is alive more than ever before.
And racing to stay in the lead of an auto industry hurtling toward massive changes. A reminder many drivers still love the feeling behind the wheel. Phil LeBeau, Nightly Business Report, Salinas, California.
And before we go, here's a look at the final numbers on Wall Street. The Dow rose 54 points, the Nasdaq was up 51, and the S&P 500 added 8. And that is Nightly Business Report for tonight. I'm Sue Herrera. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.